Hey everybody, I'm Will Campbell with the Campbell Group in Royal LePage Atlantic, and this is your Halifax Real Estate Market Update for the first quarter of 2022. Alright everybody, the first quarter of 2022 was pretty crazy. But before we start breaking down the numbers and looking at what's happened, if you could do me just one quick favor before we get started, and hit that like button. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, and it really helps me push this video out to more people like yourself that would find this type of content valuable. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you check off the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload new videos like this one. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So March was a pretty interesting month. For the first time in God knows how long, we didn't see just every type of property class climb in value. At least not a considerable amount. There were some really interesting sales that took place, two that come to the top of my head right away. One in Sackville, where there were two semis that were listed on the same day. They were almost identical properties. One had a little bit better of a backyard, but from a finish perspective, were pretty much the same. They both accepted an offer on the same day, and they both had a firm date that was the same. And one sold for $500,000, and the other one sold for $420,000. There was a semi in Cole Harbour, one off of John Stewart Drive, that sold for $420,000. And then 2 weeks later, there was another semi that was very, very similar to this one that was listed and only sold for $320,000. So you can look at these two examples, you can say, well, which one's right? Which one's actually closer to the market value? And to be honest, we don't really know. But what we do know is that sales are down 30% in the month of March compared to the month of March in 2021. In March of 2021, there were 776 sales that took place in Halifax, Dartmouth. Fast forward a year later to March 2022, and there were only 541 sales. No, this doesn't mean that there's less of a demand for housing. All it means is that we don't have the same level of inventory that we had in 2021 to sell to the people that are currently looking to buy. Detached home prices were only up 1.8% in the month of March compared to the month of February. I know that sounds crazy. It's like 1.8%. 2.5 would have been a good year 5 years ago. So for us to say 1.8, only 1.8% in a single month, and to view that as being kind of soft it's a crazy concept to wrap your head around. But semis still climbed 8% in the month of March compared to the month of February. Condos were up 5.9%, and mini homes were up a whopping 21% compared to the month of March to the month of February. So what does all this mean? To be honest, it's still too early to tell, but to me, this could be signs of the market starting to soften. Detached homes kind of pave the way for the rest of the market. They're the most in-demand type of property, and they make up the highest percentage of the total housing in Nova Scotia. And for them to only see a 1.8% increase in the single month shows that there may be a chance that the market's starting to slow down a bit. Semis being up 8% kind of goes back to the last market update video I did, where I said I thought personally that semis are going to be the riskiest purchase moving forward. And the reason I say that is I can still find instances of detached houses that are in relatively good shape in good areas selling for below $500,000. And I can also see semis that are in okay shape in okay areas selling for $500,000. Now that might be fine, and that might be what it takes to get that semi right now. But as soon as the day comes that there's availability and options for people, if they can pay the same price and get a detached home instead of a semi-detached home, they're going to opt for detached every day of the week. Therefore, that makes your semi-detached home worth a lot less. Another thing I wanted to point out, I'm posting this video mid-April, but the numbers I'm looking at are from March. Now, a lot of people are aware of this already, but at the end of March, the beginning of April, both the provincial and the federal government came out with a laundry list of new legislation that directly targets the real estate market. But what I wanted to showcase in this video is that the market is already showing signs of slowing down prior to this government legislation. So when the government inevitably comes out and bans blind bidding or bans foreign buyers from buying in Canada, you can check out my video here that I did on that. When they inevitably come out and ban all those people, and the market starts to slow, they're going to think that that was the reason why the market softened, is their great legislation that they came out with, when really, in fact, this could have already been happening before they announced these things. One thing, however, that no doubt has had an effect on the market and potentially slowing it down is an interest rate increases. So for those of you who don't know, the Bank of Canada announced another 0.5% increase to their prime rate. This coming just shortly after 3 weeks of them announcing a previous rate hike. And although interest rate hikes don't have a massive effect on the real estate market, they do have an effect. And no doubt these 2 rate increases will kind of soften the market a little bit. And then depending on what the Bank of Canada does moving forward this year, you may see some more additional rate increases, and they will no doubt have an effect on slowing down the real estate market here in Halifax. If you have any questions about the real estate market or about the new federal or provincial legislation brought out, the ban on foreign buyers, the non-resident tax and deed transfer tax that the government's implemented, the increase in interest rates, and the reviewing of blind bidding and potentially making blind bidding no longer a thing and moving to an open bidding system, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below with any of your questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Or alternatively, you can click on the first link in the description below and book a 30-minute long phone call with me, and you can literally pick my brain on anything real estate related that you'd like. But that's all I have for you today. Check back in next week. I'm going to be putting out a video contrasting open bidding and blind bidding and what I think is the best solution for buyers out there to make sure that they pay a fair price for property. Thanks so much for checking out this video, and we'll catch you on the next one.